Yep, so the sun's light is absolute. I just thought I'd zoom in on Gang Merry Men over there. The Merry ladies, whatever they are. Maggies. So, I didn't get to it last night because it was freezing. I started it and decided, no, we're going to do it during the day when the sun's out because that makes more sense, doesn't it? The speed of light from the sun, 299,792 k's per second, or absolute? Absolute. The first thing we do, something like this, okay? Surely the first thing is we take a look ourselves, don't we? Someone's going to tell you something. That's it is quite a thing, isn't it? Right? And you can see it in the mirror. All of the mirrors. Oh, that was my head. Where is it? What's she doing that? Alright, it's gone in there behind the clouds. The first thing, you can't just take it for granted. Yeah, okay, oh yeah. That's right, they've told us that. So that's it. It's absolute. We don't need to look anymore. We don't need to do any more looking at things ourselves, do we? Of course you do. Always. With everything. Especially these things, because this is something that everybody can see, isn't it? Now, if you look up at that and think that somehow it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for it to radiate its light to here, well, I'm not sure what to think, because it looks very obvious that it's fast, doesn't it? So, we'll do for me personally, looking at it in the sky, what would I think if I didn't know any better? If I had no choices, or if I had a choice of actual speed or unlimited, right? Like absolute. I'm going absolute. Just, it's come out now. Just looking at it, right? The honeycomb center one, that one. Put it up at the board above, see? So that's picking up all the irregularities in the mirror. The actual frame that's holding the phone. See how clear it is? There's no delay. This is a seriously intense light, right? Seriously intense light. So I'm going to give absolute another tick. got no reasons to go for 299,792 kilometers per second yet. So, first thing we need when we've got something like this, somebody's making claims about something like this, the first logical thing, what do we think it is? What do we always say? The evidence. So, if so many people have messed about with this light theory, and so many people have come so close, right? Because one was a little bit over, one was under, and as the years have gone on, they say they've perfected it, haven't they? So where is just one single study from somebody who's worked out the speed of light like they say they have with the numbers? Like the spinning wheel was doing this, it brought it down to that, the other thing was doing that, and at the same time, the silvered mirror was. Where is the method used to work out the speed of light? Presuming, right? We presume, because everybody else presumes. Everybody else is presuming. I'm not presuming. I can't see one anywhere. Is that a tick for 299,792? No. Absolutely. I'd rather not know than be fucking lied to, okay? The speed from the sun cannot be timed or measured. It's a fact. You could see it in the sky, okay? So that's what we've got for and against, just my personal. Now what we have, this is now me explaining from the sizes from the 5mm up to the actual sun itself. All right, so we're going to go for these 3 boards first, the one on the left and the 2 on the right. You know we had the 5mm bulb, which has gone, by the way, but believe you me, this thing fires, bang, and we worked it out. It would definitely cover a kilometre. It would definitely cover a kilometre. At night, pitch black on the beach, easily, right? So 1 kilometre, the 5mm bulb, at 1 kilometre on a really dark night, say on the beach, it's going to cover. So that is 200,000 diameters, all right? Alexa, what is 5 millimeters multiplied by 200,000?
5 million and 5 millimeters times 200,000 is 1 million and 1 kilometers.
Alexa, what's 200,000 multiplied by 5 millimeters, please?
200,000 times 5 millimeters is 1 kilometer.
So 1 kilometer. So just think on that for a second, right? 1 kilometer, so something that diameter. And then we've got, where's my big laser gone? All right, not even the big laser, okay? Because that's crazy intense as well. What about this? All right, what about this? Nighttime shines all the trees up, a couple 100 meters, right? Bang! It's the diameter. It's about diameters, right? But that, the laser that says 10 Ks. I mean, I know the light is bounced off of something inside, yada yada yada, but it's still light, isn't it? Light. Light does not travel. It has to travel instantly at absolute speed, and it will travel as far as its strength allows it to, but instantly, right? So it's not a case of everything is eventually going to get here. Every star that has ever been will eventually get here, because according to the science, you point a laser, for a minute, you let go of that button, off you go. You've just released a 1 minute long laser beam. Off it goes till it hits something, right? So, we have 5 millimeters. Earth, a bulb at 5 millimeters, the distance between the sun and Earth will be 54 centimeters. The diameter of Earth will be 45 micrometers. We've worked this out, I've worked this out. Even artificial intelligence looked at my work and said, gave me the thumbs up. So the way I've worked it out is correct, okay? If we have a 1 centimeter diameter sun, right? It's 108 centimeters, so a meter and 8 centimeters between the sun and the Earth. That's what it would be. And Earth would now be 90 micrometers, which is just under a tenth of a micrometer, right? Because it's 1,000. If it was 100 micrometers, it would be a tenth. It's 90, so it's just under 1/10 the size of a millimeter, all right? If it was if we had the sun was a 2 centimeter diameter bulb, the distance, the correct distance between the sun and Earth would be 216 centimeters. So that's 2 meters and 16. Earth is now 180 micrometers. So now we're looking at just under a fifth of a millimeter. So kind of visible now, right? It'd be like a hair. A bit thicker than a hair maybe, something like that. 4 centimeters, 432. So now, if we had a 4 centimeter diameter bulb, right? It would, the correct distance between Earth and the sun would be 4 meters and 32 centimeters, right? Earth would now be just over a third of a millimeter. Now we could see it. We can see a millimeter. There's 10 in a centimeter. So we're looking at a third, just over a third of a millimeter, right? So this is the one, this one, and this one are probably the two where we can now start to see Earth, right? So that's what we're going to concentrate on now. So we come over to this side. Now we've done with that other side. Now, what we have here is if the sun were a 10 centimeter bulb, right, now we're talking 10 centimeters now, okay? A diameter of 10 centimeters. The correct distance, this is all being brought down to scale, right? Everything is kept in the same proportion. It would be a 10.8 meters from the Earth to the sun, okay? Now that's with a 10 centimeter. So let's just draw it in, just so that you know exactly what we're talking here. So 10 centimeters. Right? Up there, so we're looking at the sun with this big in diameter, right? You'd have to walk 10.8 meters down that way, and down there, Earth would be 0.9 millimeters, right? 0.9 of a millimeter. So just under a centimeter, right? No, just under a millimeter, sorry, all right? So you can now see Earth. It's probably about that speck, right? Right now, if there were people living on that speck, right? This is because of the ratio thing, brought down to scale, and now we're blowing it back up. If somebody was living on there, they would most definitely see this straight away, wouldn't they? Okay? Don't forget, we're coming up from the bulb here. Right? We've seen the bulb radiate its light well over 200 200,000 of its diameters in the blink of an eye, okay? The trouble we're having is, at the end of this scale, the sun, it's kind of doing the opposite. It's radiating its light at one diameter every 4.6 seconds. So between the bulb doing what we think is amazing stuff, but pretty standard, right, to the other end of the scale where something very strange is happening, right? So we're going to try to work out where it's breaking down. It's definitely not here. A 10 centimeter bulb, it's like a spotlight. They go hunting kangaroos and stuff with it, don't they? Right? 9.9 of a millimeter. Let's go to 1 meter. Sun, right? With the diameter, here it is, of 1 meter. Are we going to think that it's somehow slowing down now? Like that it's going to start to get a bit sluggish, pull itself back in because it's getting bigger? You know, of course not. But if this were the sun at 1,390,000 kilometers in diameter, it would take 4.6 seconds for this sun to radiate its light here to here, the distance of its diameter. Can I capture it? Yeah, okay. All right. This is a 1 meter diameter sun. Now, if we brought this sun and it acted like the bulb, right, which isn't too far away, it's only been 1 meter, 10 centimeters, 1 centimeter, so a few doubles. The bulb, like I said, it was, we've gone a really modest end of the scale and just said 200,000 diameters, right? But not in 4.6 seconds, in the blink of an eye. You hit the switch and it's lit up 200,000 of its diameters before you can blink. As soon as you hit that switch, and we know it's more than 200,000 diameters, we're keeping it on the friendly side, all right? So that was a bulb. Now, why wouldn't we think that this would do exactly the same, right? We turn it on, it's a meter in diameter, 200,000. Alexa, what's 1 meter multiplied by 200,000?
1 meter times 200,000 is 200 kilometers.
Right, now, the equivalent of our light bulb at 5 millimeters radiating its light 200,000 diameters is 1 kilometer. The sun, right, it's 200. So what they're saying is if things work out the way they're supposed to and they stay to proportion, right, they stay in scale, this should now, if it was a bulb, the same strength as that 5 millimeter one, when you hit the switch, 200 kilometers. Was it 200 or 20? No, 200, right? So, what are we talking here? It's not breaking down when it's a meter in diameter, that's for sure. I think we all know that. We've got enough common sense to work that one out, okay? So let's go to the next one up, 100 meters. This, another 99, 100 meter diameter. A sun with a 100 meter diameter. What do we think would happen with a sun that size? We've got a sun that size. It's not going to go, right, I'm just going to do one diameter every 4.6 seconds. I'm not feeling too good. Is it? No. It's going to go bang. The light, say, is traveling at the same speed with all of these, down to the 5mm bulb. The difference being, it's the distance at which they radiate their light that is affected. Not the speed, right? The speed is a constant, it's light. But it's the distance that the light can travel. It doesn't get to, I don't know, 50 Ks. One of these gets to 50 Ks, and that's it. Then it switches over to mobile mode, and as soon as the person lets go of the switch, it goes. Okay, right? You've got yourself a runaway laser beam, right? It doesn't work like that. Turn a laser on, a torch on, anything on, the light will get to as far as it's going to go in a heartbeat and stop. That's it. You turn the source off, it's all gone. The end. That is light. I mean, what else is it that they keep you going into it and propagating waves and this and that and the other? Oh my God. A 10km diameter bulb. Do we think it's going to slow down from the 1 meter? Why would it? Right? Why on earth would it get to a bigger diameter and then just go, right, okay, we're going to cap the speed of light that leaves me from now on, right? It doesn't work like that. So already, for me, we've gotten a fair way through. I'm going to give it another tick because I haven't seen anything that is pointing towards that yet, and I don't presume. Now, we've done the 10km bulb. Now we're on the big board. Right. Oh yeah, and that 10km bulb, let's not forget, sorry, the diameter of the sun, actually with the 1km bulb, right, the diameter of the sun is 9.1 meters. So that's big, isn't it? And here, that's a 9. Have I got blue chalk on my back? It's supposed to be a 9. Somebody trying to sabotage me again. Alright. So 91 centimeters with a 100-meter sun diameter of 100 meters. Nearly a meter. The 1K sun. I mean, Earth is visible now, isn't it? Right, at the moment, so we're coming to the big gun. So maybe something's going to change here. Is something going to change here that makes us think, oh, I see, this is when the change happened. This is when we break it down, the sun started to slow itself down. 100 kilometers, right? That's from here to Maryborough, right? The sun, that diameter. What do we think is going to happen? Is it going to slow down? Is it going to slow its light speed down? The distance between the sun and Earth with a 100-kilometer diameter sun is 10,800 kilometers. This is where you've got to start thinking, right? Actually, you need to start thinking from the very beginning, because when it was a 5mm bulb and a distance of 54 centimeters between Earth and the sun, that proportion, that ratio, what people would have seen if they were tiny living on that planet, right? We know for a fact what we saw, the distances involved, we're going to see the sun immediately. There is not going to be travel time, right? 54 centimeters. Everything's smaller, but common sense tells us that if somebody on that planet Earth, it's only 54 centimeters away, for crying out loud. That is the scale that we are following all the way up. It doesn't matter how big we get. If everything increases in proportion, it is going to be the equivalent distance of what we just saw there. The same as when we bring it down the other way. Just because things are close, 54 centimeters apart, it doesn't mean they're close, right? Because everything has been scaled down, the sun's been scaled down, but it is kept in proportion, which means when we've got the 10-kilometer diameter sun, right, and the 91-meter diameter of Earth, 91 meters. So what do we think? 10 k's away, right? Something, a star, 10 kilometers away, right? And it's got a diameter of 10 kilometers, right? It's gonna be a monster. What it would look like that one up there, because everything is to scale, so it stays the same. If we just watch this sun and somebody could put a spell on us, and everything would shrink from the real distance, the real diameter, and the real Earth diameter, but where we are right now, and they could hit a button, and we drop down to the next one, like a 1 million diameter sun, 108 million kilometer distance between us, and Earth would be 9,170 kilometers diameter instead of the 12,742. We could be like this, boom. We would know no difference. We'd be a lot lighter, right? Because we've just, everything shrunk a little bit. But the sun, the shadows, everything would be exactly the same because it's kept in proportion, right? Now, we keep going like that, okay? He hits the button again. We're now in the sun's got a 100,000 kilometer diameter. It's dropped, right? The distance dropped. Now it's only 10,800,000 k's to the sun. And the Earth's diameter is now only 917. Differences that we'd see. Lighter again. We wouldn't notice that we're smaller because everything around us has shrunk to the exact same scale. It's kept in proportion. The only difference we would feel is if we would have scales that in the shrink, we've dropped a few kilos as well. Everything else remains the same. Everything else remains the same. So, when is the 4.6 seconds supposed to kick in? Because we've started with the 4.6 second diameter speed, haven't we? One diameter every 4.6 seconds. We're now down to what? 100,000 kilometer diameter sun. We're shrinking down to a 917 diameter planet, right? And we just keep going. So all of a sudden we're on the 100 kilometer diameter sun, right? 10,800 kilometers between the sun and Earth. That is just under, because our diameter is 12,700, so that's like 2,000 kilometers short of the diameter of our sun, right? Do you think we would see a sun that was 100 kilometers in diameter? Of course we would. It's insane to think not. We know we would, because when it was down to this scale of, let's say, the 10 meters, right? Diameter sun of 10 meters, be 1,000 meters away, a kilometer away. And the diameter of Earth, this is the one. This has got to be the one, right? A 10 meter diameter sun. So add another 9 on top of this, right? 10 meters in diameter. It would be 1,000, just over a kilometer away, right? We see a kilometer, just right down the road if it's a steep downhill, right? So you've got a 10 meter sun, 1 kilometer away, just over 1 kilometer away, and Earth is at 9.1 centimeters. So Earth is that big in diameter. It's up there. There it is, up there. No, That's 10 centimetres. We're looking at 10 metres, right? So we've got 9 on top of this. Are we going to see it 1 kilometre away? Of course we're going to see it 1 kilometre away. We, from 1 kilometre away, are going to see this, aren't we? Boom. No doubt whatsoever. No doubt whatsoever. So we've got a 10 metre diameter sun, 1,080 metres away, and planet Earth is 9.1 centimetres in diameter. That, you can keep that, boom, printed it in your mind, because you are on that planet. You are on that planet. You're a very, very, very tiny little person, but you're on this planet. You're 1,000 metres away from a sun that has a diameter of 10 metres. That's 3 stories high, right? Would you see it? Of course you would. Would you have to wait 8 minutes and 20 seconds to see it? Don't be so stupid, teacher, right? I'm not a teacher. But when we get to 100 metres, 10,800 metres distance, like 10 k's, Earth is 91 centimetres, nearly a metre in diameter. Are we going to have to wait 8 minutes and 20 seconds then? No. Why? Because it is in the same scale. Every time the distance goes up, so does the sun's diameter. So as you get further away, it's getting bigger. And you can move away and bigger. It will always be to the same scale. Therefore, it is totally 100% illogical to think that as you're ticking along and you go from a 1,000 kilometre to a 10,000 kilometre diameter sun, to a 100,000 kilometre diameter sun, to a 1 million kilometre sun in diameter, there is never ever going to come a time when a light delay starts to be detected. And the reason is because the diameter is going up, distance is going up, and kind of irrelevant is the diameter of the Earth going. It's irrelevant, but we're doing it because we would be on that planet. We're trying to look for a reason for the 4.6 seconds for these monsters to start radiating their light out. Now, where is it here? Right? We've seen the bulb, we've physically played with the bulb, we've done it, we've seen it smash, right? So now we've just done from the bulb 10 kilometre, 10 k's, 100,000. Where would it start? How did we get to the sun with a 1,390,000 kilometre diameter, but this sudden massive delay that it takes the sunlight 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get here? 4.6 seconds every diameter. There's no sign of any of these slowing down. It's going to blast the light out. Who knows how many times the size of its diameter? But the same applies to all of them. Right? Now that was working up, and if we did the same but on the back foot, we start with 4.6 seconds per 299,792 kilometers, the speed of light. So we're on a planet that has a diameter of 12,742 kilometers, we're 150 million k's from the sun, and the sun has a 1,390,000 diameter. Right? That is what the diameter of the sun is. And we just keep going back. Boom, boom, boom. We've still got the 4.6 second delay because we're taking it with us. We want to see what happens. 4.6 seconds per diameter. So we get down to the 10 kilometer, boom, 100 meters. We've got a 10 meter sun now, right? We're 1k away, just over 1k away. And they're telling us that not too long ago, it was taking 4.6 seconds for the sun, the real sun, to radiate its light the distance of that 10 meters. What's that all about? It's illogical. it's illogical both ways. It doesn't matter how you paint this picture. There doesn't come a time in either one of these two, whether it's going back down or going back up, that the speed of light is going to slow down. It doesn't make sense. What is your explanation? You know what? It's going to be one of those explanations that is so vague that has everybody thinking that that us conspiracy theorists are the ones in the wrong. This is common sense and logic at work, okay? There is no argument here. There is no enter the 4.6 seconds per diameter speed, please. Where? Where does it enter? It does not enter in any of these equations. So why is it, somebody said, that our sun takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth? And it doesn't, because we've just proven that it doesn't change the speed. What it changes is the distance at which it can brighten something up, right? There's no speed change. Oh, that light's bigger than yours, it's going to go much faster. No. Boom, light. You think a laser light, if I point a laser light that way, it's going to be so much faster than a bulb. But it's light, so they would probably move together. And then the laser just keeps going, where the bulb fizzles out. And when we say fizzles out, it's what we can see, isn't it? Or is it? Because, yeah, it would be. Because if a bulb, somebody was stood there with a bulb, and I just keep moving away, it's a dark night, how far would I get until I said to the guy holding the bulb, I can't see it now, eh? What was that, a K, 2Ks, 3Ks, what, on a dark night, holding that? It will come a time when the person can't see it anymore. That is just an eyesight glitch, because anybody who gets a telescope out at that point can see it for another, right? And as far as he sees that light, it's still in the same time zone. It's instant. He's seeing it live because it's absolute, right? Whether he's looking through a pair of binoculars or a telescope, it stays absolute. It doesn't change. It's a constant, right? So again, where does the 4.6 seconds per diameter come in here? Where? We've got 108 suns. 108 suns in between us and the sun. That is not a crazy amount to think that it's going to take 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the light, because it's 4.6, 4.6, 4.6, 4.6, 4.6, 4.6, 4.6. Be there. It's absurd. It's an absurdity. It hasn't been thought about properly, because if it had been, these numbers wouldn't be like this. They could have easily said 4,220,000. No, sorry. 400,000 kilometers per second, or 800,000 kilometers per second, or 1,200,000 kilometers per second. That is what these things are traveling. That's what light travels at. What difference would it be to anybody on this planet, right, if the speed of light does turn out to be absolute, which it will, right? What is it going to change in people's lives? Nothing. It will change the way people look at the stars and at the universe at night and our sun. It will change, it will make people understand that trying to call an age for this planet, right? When you know the starlight and the sun's light is absolute, it's just a whole different ballgame. They don't know how old. How are they going to know how old planet is. It's going through fossils and carbon dating, and it's just so unrealistic. How would they know? How they've come up with what is it, the rock that's... Alexa, what rock is it that has a half-life of 4.5 billion years?
From Quizlet.com, U-238 has a half-life of 4 billion years.
Okay, there you go, right? Some U whatever. How do they know this? How do they know? What kind of chemical breakdown have they been watching that says, hang on mate, 1 billion, this will last 2 billion, 3 billion. What is it? All this data. Where does data come from, please? It's just a load of baloney, is what it is. A load of rubbish. People are constantly claiming stuff that can't be claimed, right? It's so obvious. Ooh. Good. Right, that'll do. That's all the mirrors on here, see? Direct off of the mirrors. Feel the heat. Totally blinding. I mean, I look at that. And now I've just got the green, right? 8 minutes and 20 seconds. I think it's instant. It might as well be the laser. My neighbour's shining the laser at my eyes. I'm just feeding a bird. One of those bin birds. People don't like them, do they? Because they're bin birds. I mean, but if you take notice of that bird, right? It hasn't got any arms. It relies solely on its beak. And when I worked that out, I decided to feed them. Whenever there's food scraps, they get it. Imagine walking around like that with your hands tied behind your back and all you had is a long beak. That is their whole life. That is how they eat. That is how they get nutrients with no arms or fingers or anything. It's must be, it's no wonder that they're always hungry, right? Is it? And they're so scared of, like they're real skittish. One sudden moved the wrong way. See, even though it's food, look. They're always getting hounded probably. That's what they are. They're birds, that's all they are. Birds with no arms. Say that, no birds get to use arms, but it's just when you see this for what it is, and you put yourself in their position, why wouldn't you throw them some food? Had nothing to do with the sun, but there's certain times they come and they were here. See, they never get used to it. Everything is a threat. Just goes to show what kind of life they've all led. Right, that will do. So, as we were saying, there is no logical reason, right, anywhere to be found for the sun's light to suddenly take this bizarre turn and put the anchors on, right? The bigger it gets, the further the distance at the same speed. It seems like it's not common sense, because obviously not, but but having looked at light, not studied it, but playing around with it and listening to the alternatives. Was it Christian Huygens in, look. This is obviously going to be a long post because these kind of things can't be done. Plus we had the birds to feed, okay? Now, I've still got a dirty hand. Napkins and pineapple. You right, yeah? Oh, the keys. Fucking hell! It's a bit pale. It's dust. So, has anyone ever thought? What was Christian Huygens came up with the theory for the speed of light, the whole propagation of the waves. 1674. 2 years later, oh, that was Roma. Io and Jupiter. What on earth possesses somebody to try something so impossible? It didn't happen. Please get yourself a telescope, wait for Jupiter to be in your night sky and get back to us and tell us how you went. Then you'll understand, right? Why were these people even thinking about the speed of light in those days, right? Yeah, but what? This is 200, 300 years before, 200 years before electricity. 1880s. This is 200 years before a bulb, before a battery, right? What on earth? Why were these people curious about the sun and how fast it goes, and to work it out by observing a planet and its moon that at some stages gets to 750 million kilometers away, even more, right? Why would somebody do that? They wouldn't. They would not, right? It didn't happen. And if you don't believe it didn't happen, try it. Then you'll be able to comment. That's how these things work, right? Stellar Aberration by James Bradley. These things, right? The way they complement each other, one after the other, just like some other things that we could mention. So fast, there's so many of them all of a sudden. How do you start to question it? Ingenuity. 1, 2, 3, 60 flights, 60 plus. It's rapid fire. It's a strategy. By the time you're ready to question number 1, there's another 4 already gone off of whatever it is. Where do you start? Where do you start? You don't. It just gets to the stage where you think, hang on a minute, we need to go back to number 1, right? And that is where a lot of things stand right now. Slam a dunk. That is a dead cert, right? How did Johannes Kepler in 1609 work out that the planets were in elliptical orbits? Kepi, right? Born in Germany, he wouldn't have moved out of Europe, right? So how did he work that out? Wouldn't you have to kind of have eyes on the whole solar system? Not whole solar system, but some of the planets, they go out of sight for months at a time. How would he know what they were doing, right? How would he know that 3 or 4, 5, 6 months at a time that it was out of his sight? How would he know, right? There wasn't anybody else on the other side of the planet doing it because they haven't told us. But now that I've said that, they could rewrite that in for the future history. So in 50 years, somebody writes that down now, gets printed in 2030, right? Oh yeah, such and such on Miguel Perez from Argentina, and he was looking at all the planets, and then one day they realized, Kepi and him, that they were looking at the same stuff, and they got their notes together and found that there was a kind of arc as it came over South America, and then it was deduced that the planets actually have elliptical orbits. But for one person to do it from one country, it can't be done. So people don't think of these things. They just think, oh, weren't they ever so clever back those days, weren't they? Ever so clever. Even this Lippershey with telescopes in 1608, did that really happen in 1608? Did it? Did Hans Lippershey really exist? All of this, right? It's good from here down, I'd say, right? But from here up, Lagrange. That's where the James Webb Space Telescope is right now, at Lagrange Point 2. Alexa, what is the weather like at Lagrange Point 2?
In Lagrange, United States, it's 26
Alexa.
degrees.
I was joking. Lagrange point 2 in space. What's happening up there right now?
From space.com. A Lagrange point is a location in space where the combined gravitational forces of two large bodies, such as Earth and the Sun or Earth and the Moon, equal the centrifugal force felt by a much smaller third body.
So it hovers, sits there, free, doesn't spend any fuel and energy whatsoever. Boop. They got it into that spot, slowed down, and it's just caught in between stuff, other gravitational pulls. It's just chilling, right? That's amazing, isn't it? What better way of being able to send something up and then just forget about it? You have to keep doing this and doing that. You know, it's probably got that same autonomous program that the Solar Probe has and that Ingenuity had. Because you want these things to have autonomous programs so that they can look after themselves. And when they can look after themselves, more hands to create other stuff, more important stuff. Yeah, that's how it kind of works. The truth about this, we've said it now with the sun, haven't we? Obviously it's absolute. If it's not absolute, why is there no study whatsoever anywhere that proves how somebody worked it out? And the other thing, where did this sudden delay start to happen in this bounce from 5 millimeters to 1,390,000 kilometers? Where did the shift happen, right? There is no shift, right? We've gone from the bulb up and it's all logical. 5 millimeter bulb, if we have a 5 centimeter bulb, what happens? The light's going to get further, pound for pound. If it's the same as the 5 millimeter bulb and we go up to scale and everything remains the same, that light is more powerful, 5 times, let's say. Bang! It goes 5 times as far. And then if we get a 5 meter light, right, it will be the same again, the same speed, but further. It will radiate its light further. And it gets to the stage when you're at a star size, right? And it will radiate its light, bang, instantly as far as it can go. And then that's it. No source, no light. If it turned itself off, it would just go, everything would just collapse. There'd be no light. Because light can't survive without a source. It's illogical to think it does. Totally illogical to think it does. I'm going to put this out here, leave it on the lawn for 5 minutes and then turn it off, right? And then there's a 5-minute ray of bulb light travelling off towards the moon. It's stupid, right? It's on or it's off. Once it's off, it's gone, it's disappeared. There's no source, there's not even a trace of it. Unless you were burning something, it's gone, right? So again, where does the delay start? Why does it suddenly take a monster with a diameter of 1,390,000 kilometers, 4.6 seconds to radiate its light the distance of its own diameter? Are we stupid? Well, I'm not, right? The sun's light is absolute. There is no study anywhere that says anything other, right? None. There are no numbers, no proper equations, no real anythings when it comes to the 299792. That's why the speed of light radiating from the sun is absolute. It can't be timed, it can't be measured. Claim that gun, that camera, was it 10 trillion frames per second? Oh, God. They reckon they took a picture of light, like a little slug in a bottle. Give me a break. God, it's lies. And if you don't start thinking critically, every single lie they keep getting away with is just sending people further and further away from reality. So what does this light entail? Relativity, quantum mechanics. Light, it's the foundation of everything, isn't it? And they give it a finite speed. They control the universe. They control the age of the stars. They control everything. Well, there's a logical reason for something, right? Something wrong. It's how logic works. And common sense is, it complements it. Logic and common sense will work anything out. You've got to trust your own judgment. Stop being sidetracked by absurdities, because that is what they do. Just one absurdity after another on the news, one after another, bang, 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 and people just go, oh, that's funny, oh, that's always, I wonder if that's true. And it gets to the stage where you've got so much crap in your head, you just don't know what to differentiate from what's real and what's not, what's fantasy, what's honestly, slam dunk. So there you have it. I'm not even gonna, it's gonna be an hour long, isn't it? I could probably do a shorter version. I will. I'll just do a shorter version later on without all of the extra gimmies in it, because I did get totally sidetracked, birds and shit. All right. But that is why there is no points. No points. No points. People saying that they thought about light in the 1600s. No. That's a cross. That's another plus for absolute, isn't it? Because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So many things didn't happen. But to understand they didn't happen, people need to put themselves into that situation. 400 years ago, there's no tower, there's no nothing. Oh, I wonder if I look up at Jupiter, I'll be able to work out the speed of light, because I think I've noticed a delay as Earth has been orbiting around the sun. Because it's what I do. I gaze up at Jupiter and think, I'm going to work out the speed of light by, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And people who think it did happen, well, you're very easily manipulated, because these things, like Christian Huygens, working out a wave theory of light, where wave propagates and another wave comes and propagates that one for some time, and then another wave on top of another wave comes, and we have light. What? No. Light. There's no time for propagation. It's already gone. They make it sound so organised, don't they? Anyway. There will be more reasons will come to me as soon as I hit stop. I'll go, oh God, I was supposed to say that, I was supposed to say that. But there you have it, folks. It's about common sense, right? You're going to believe everything they tell you. Look at that. There's nothing getting close to that. I can feel my face right now. It's just ridiculous, people. Sunlight is absolute. It's just lies. Lies and lies. All right, later, peeps.